If you are cringing over something you said or did or didn't say, or if you are just overthinking something that's really big for you in your life and just going over and over in your head and it's making you a little bit crazy and kind of paralyzing you so that you can't think properly about other things, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to weave your way out of that situation and to calm your mind down and start to feel a lot better and get through this period of uncertainty. Straight up, if you are really overthinking something and it's really driving you crazy, do something physical, whether that be go for a run, go for a bike ride, do a HIIT class, like something that's really going to get the heart rate up and tire you out, or jump onto my other video where I do a 5-minute activity of how to settle the mind right down when you're overthinking, and it only takes about 5 minutes. So let's talk about why this happens. So there is nothing wrong with you. This is a perfectly normal human experience. It is an inbuilt mechanism and it has a perfect role in your life. So as humans, historically, we grew up in tribes and we all had a particular role in the tribe and everyone worked together, and that gave us our status and our purpose and our meaning. Things haven't really changed in terms of our nervous system and in terms of what we need as humans. So we do need the approval of others. We do need our role in society and in the community. We need to have that meaning. We need to have that purpose. So if we're getting a threat response in our brain, so our amygdala and other processes in the central nervous system are going off and saying, you need to think about this thing. The brain is saying, hey, you need to think about this thing because there is a potential threat, or there is a threat going in place right now that needs your attention. So this is a survival mechanism. Often when we're overthinking something that we said or did, or we're waiting on the outcome of something work related or romantic relationship related, things that are quite fundamental to our human existence, then it's very normal that we overthink and ruminate over this topic until we know the outcome. So as long as that uncertainty is there, there will be this tendency to overthink and be like, okay, well, if this happens, then I'm going to do this, or if it doesn't go this way, I'm going to have to do that. So anyone trying to sell you anything about saying, oh, I can teach you how to not care about what anyone thinks, that's rubbish. Don't believe it. You need it. You can't force your nervous system to not be like that. It's part of the human existence. You can be not a mainstream person who doesn't like the same things that everyone else likes, and you can be one of those people that's a little bit more shameless than other people, and that's great because then you will just naturally not care as much. But you will still have your tribe, those people in your life that you care about, that you look up to, that you want approval from. We all have those people in our lives. And when that is under threat and when our status is under threat, so going back to that tribal situation, all of that, so our role in the tribe creates our status. So we still experience that now. Our status is going to be informed by how successful we are in our work, relationships, and every other realm of our lives, all in relation to how well we want to do and think that we should do. So when that's under threat, we're going to experience this threat response. We're going to overthink it. We're going to care about the approval of those people involved and the people who have the say in that outcome as well. If you are seeking approval from people that aren't actually that good for you, or maybe they're toxic, or maybe it's one person who's a bit toxic for you, but for whatever reason you still really care, and you might know that it's wrong and you wish you didn't care what that person thought because their approval isn't actually that valuable, then that would indicate some distortions in your thinking and your self-perceptions, your self-esteem, your confidence, and your worth. And in that scenario, I would recommend getting some therapeutic assistance, potentially some CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, to help walk you through that and start to reframe some things to get a better perspective and to have you seeing things in a more authentic way for you. If you're a person that tends to overthink things and ruminate over quite small decisions, Again, this is sort of a little bit part of your personality, so you won't necessarily be able to eradicate it, but these next 3 things are going to help you a lot and help you manage that through your lifespan. Number 1, improve your EQ, so your emotional intelligence. That is actually my next video. Emotional intelligence will inform your status and help you to become really authentic about your self-worth, your confidence, and your self-esteem. Number 2, remember that everyone else is completely self-absorbed. They've all got their heads up their butts. No one is paying anywhere near as much attention to what you're saying, thinking, or doing as you are. And there will be times where there's a bit of focus on you, but for the most part, people aren't noticing or they don't care. You know, we have 150 thoughts per minute, I think it is, and we can't even keep track of all our own thoughts going on inside our heads half the time. So keeping track of the ins and outs of the small decisions and ifs and buts that someone else is doing really is not happening very often. It's not realistic. So don't worry about those things. Everyone else is completely self-absorbed. They're not focusing on you. Number 3, this is going to help you in the long term. Start now and keep doing it. Practice some sort of breath or mental distancing exercise. So this is mindfulness essentially. You need to be able to zoom out. So this is when we're overthinking, it's like we can't see the forest for the trees. We've just got all these thoughts racing around and we can't sort of settle it back down. If we have a breath practice or some sort of mindfulness practice, this is going to enable us to zoom out. When we practice these types of exercises, we are hacking our biochemistry. So we are actually intervening and we're telling the nervous system, no, the threat isn't that imminent right now. Please calm down. And then what happens over time is we move away from that default overthinking. So our mind defaulting to, okay, I'm going to overthink this every little decision. We can start shifting that so that default way of thinking becomes more aligned with zooming out and what we get in our nervous system when we practice those breath exercises, because it's like we're training it. You have to train any muscle. It's the same thing. We are training our mind to move into this space over here where we go, okay, I'm just going to come back to my breath. I'm going to come back into my body now, as opposed to just letting our mind carry us away down that track, this long story that it's making up and ruminating over. So get started straight away on those breath activities. Go check out my video on improving your emotional intelligence. Go check out my video that's a 5-minute exercise on how to settle the mind when it's racing. I hope you liked the video. If you did, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you next time.